There is already a war going on. Is the world ready for another one? Why am I asking this? Because when Russia invaded Ukraine almost a year ago, the move sent alarm bells ringing. Experts and lawmakers were almost sure that the Ukraine war would embolden China to act on its long-standing threat to Taiwan. And those alarm bells, by the way, are still ringing, even though China is reluctant to agree with it. As I told you yesterday, the war is between Ukraine and Russia on the ground. But diplomatically, it has moved on way beyond that. Biden, remember, was in Kiev to show his support. And now China's top diplomat, Wang Yi's visit to Moscow has been raising a lot of concern, which leads me to this question. What's in it for China? Why is it interested in the Ukraine war? Ever since Russia invaded Ukraine, analysts have been pointing fingers at Beijing. Its intentions towards Taiwan have been under the microscope. And now China has urged the world to stop drawing parallels. The foreign minister has said, and I'm quoting, "Stop touting Ukraine today, Taiwan tomorrow." But my question is, why not? Let's just have a look at the similarities here. Russia and China are both authoritarian states. Both have been targeting their weaker neighbors, claiming them as a crucial part of their territories. Both the countries also challenge the US-led international order. In fact, Beijing plans to unveil a peace proposal in the coming days. It is called the Global Security Initiative. And through this, China aims to paint itself as a responsible major power. It wants to provide an alternative to America's model of military alliances. The same alliances that protect countries like Ukraine and Taiwan. China has repeatedly threatened to use force against Taiwan. It has increased the military activity in the seas and the airspace around the island. Tensions have escalated over the last year. And one of the biggest examples was the US House Speaker Nancy Pelosi's visit to Taiwan last year. China was angered by America's support for the island. And right after Pelosi's visit, it launched war games across the Taiwan Strait. Missiles were fired, drones were flown, Chinese warships sailed across the median line of the strait. The last time China did something like this was ahead of the 1996 Taiwanese presidential election. China has historically drawn red lines as far as Taiwan is concerned. It has time and again warned that it reserves the right to attack the island under these conditions. Number one, if a third party stations forces in Taiwan. Number two, if the island develops nuclear weapons. And lastly, if Taipei declares independence or postpones unification negotiations with China indefinitely. China is aggressively possessive as far as Taiwan is concerned, and it does not react well to any possible threat to the One China policy. This is what Wang Yi said at the Munich Security Conference. I'm quoting, "It was never a country and it will absolutely not be a country as well. That is the true reality of the Taiwan issue." Now, this is how China views Taiwan. Why does it want people to stop drawing parallels with Ukraine then? The Ukraine conflict has served as a stark reminder. It has shown that cross-border invasions are not a thing of the past. The effects have rippled to other countries as well. If China and Taiwan go to fire, the stray bullets would land in Japan. And the country is well aware of this. And the fear has forced the Pacific nation to bolster its defense and expand its security networks. There are parallels between Moscow's war on Ukraine and Beijing's approach to Taiwan. The analogies have legs, but at the same time, it's not all that simple. The scenarios and the countries involved are also markedly different. Russia and China are different actors with different incentives, economies, different societies. In recent decades, Russia stagnated and became dependent on fossil fuel exports. China's economy, on the other hand, has expanded rapidly through global trade and investment. The countries have also wielded their military powers differently. Russia has deployed its troops for combat missions to multiple countries, and this includes Georgia, Syria, and Ukraine. But China has refrained from large-scale combat operations since 1979. China seems to lack combat experience. Xi Jinping has made unification with Taiwan a key element of his political goals. But unlike Russia, China is willing to play the long game. And experts say the PLA currently lacks the operational and transport capacity to mount an invasion. You see, the question is no more about whether China would annex Taiwan, but more about when and how. WION now available in your country. Download the app now. Get all the news on the move.